everyone. My guest for this episode is Danielle Francis, a New York City-based makeup artist whose work has appeared in Horizont, From Russia with Love, Style Cruze, and Shuba magazine. She's worked with independent brands and artists like Blakk April, and she was a former pro artist for NYX Cosmetics. You can view her work on her Instagram at Danny Shadows with 2 S's and on her website at daniellefrancisart.wixsite.com/Danny Shadows. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to speak to you today.
Roosevelt tagged you on my post, right? I think that's how, yeah. And then I contacted you because I saw your page. I was like, oh cool, I want to have her on. And then I contacted you. And yeah, and then from there it worked out. It was also pretty quick. This was like last week, so that's really cool that you answered.
Yeah, I was super excited to see that he tagged me in it. And then I watched the other episodes with the other makeup artists and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. Like I need to speak to the girl.
Yeah, I also like, because your style is very different from like the other makeup artists. Like I see that you're very alternative and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I think it'd be cool to have her on too, so she can give us like her perspective and stuff. So
awesome.
I just saw your cat go by in the background. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
Thank you. Oh yeah, he's a mess. He thinks he's a big baby. He's like, the attention's not on me. What?
Yeah, and I just saw his tail like walk by and I was like, oh, that's cute. So just tell us a little bit about what you've been up to these past few months.
So the past few months, I think not just me, but everyone, it's slowly just been trying to keep busy. I feel like a lot of people with quarantine were kind of getting into that trap, like mindset, which we definitely all needed the break. And, it just starts to become like a routine in the bad sense where you're kind of like, wow, like I'm not doing anything. Like I really need to start, like stop being lazy. So I feel like, when it first had happened, I kind of took that break that everyone else has. And it's like, there's not much you can do when you're at home. But after I started to realize that, I feel like I just kind of snapped out of it and was doing whatever I could at home. I was working for NYX Professional Makeup. So lots and lots of Zoom calls, creating content for them, which was a lot of fun, especially because, like I said, at home, there's only so much you can do. So really just keeping busy and then focusing more on artistry. Artistry is also a really good escape mechanism, I guess you would say. Like, instead of thinking about all the anxieties and the craziness of going on, you can escape. And I think that's what I've been really doing these past few months, more so in the beginning, and now just slowly getting back out there, freelancing safely, of course, and, trying to make sure you really know and follow all these new protocols that you didn't have to worry back then, because as everyone knows, it's a whole different world now.
Right, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, did posting on Instagram help you like keep in touch with like that like creative side of makeup? Because I know I've heard a lot of people say that they felt like they need to like retouch on a lot of their skills because they've been like out of work for like months.
Definitely, especially seeing all of the other artists, like in a sense, it is like it's very inspiring. And then you have that extra free time, when you're working or even retail, or if you're just out freelancing, it's like you don't want to come home and sit and do your own makeup for 4 hours. You're just dead from the day. So being home, it really gives you that chance to, like you said, kind of recondition those skills that you had or even better your skills, because especially as a makeup artist, there's always room for growth. And I mean, that's in anything you do, but especially makeup, because there's so many different styles and brands and just so much to know.
Right, yeah. So like why did you decide to become a makeup artist? Like, where did that sort of come from?
So I always definitely was interested in all kinds of art as a kid. Originally when I was really young, when I was probably like 12, 13, like I was set on being an actress, and then it changed to makeup. I went to a sports and law based high school, and neither of those things were my thing. So I feel like since I ended like the acting, I kind of just picked up makeup. And like I believe one of the other makeup artists on here said it as well, like just YouTube, like it kind of took over my world. Like as a kid, that was my whole childhood, just watching, beauty influencers and YouTube tutorials, and then just becoming so obsessed. And, I started at a young age. I started doing it on myself. And then I was fortunate enough to assist a makeup artist at 17.
Wow.
And I just, ever since then, like, that's all I was doing, and I can't picture myself doing anything else. If it's something you want to do, you just have to go for it, and you kind of have to take that leap of faith. And it definitely is scary when you're beginning, and like you said, there are a lot of people that kind of want to stick to who they know. And it's just like, even we have that bad habit of little things, going to the nail salon. It's like, no, like, I want that girl. Or hairstylist, it's like, oh, she's been doing my hair for years. So definitely the same thing with makeup. It's just, you have to make your own connections, and then just start small, do it on friends and family, and then slowly branch out, reach out to like photographers. But if you want to do it, do it.
You attended the makeup designery, right? I saw you.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you feel like it was worth it to go?
I definitely do feel like it was worth going. A lot of people take different experiences from it. I feel like if you really use they teach a lot of the professional behind makeup that, not saying that self-taught makeup artists don't know it, but kind of things that it would go over some people's heads. Like, you definitely need to learn the correct sanitation, skin tone, skin texture. And it's like, you can only do so much at home on yourself, because of course, you have one skin type, you have one skin tone. It's like that hands on and all of that professionalism, it's kind of harder to get it from yourself. And yeah, you can research, you can look up YouTube videos and, get books. And it's like that information, though, I feel like it's so hidden and so hard to really get. So going to the school is definitely worth it. It is a good investment. And, it did pay off. And, it's really cool because a lot of the teachers there, they all did or still work in the industry. So you kind of get that little bit of insight and that extra help, which is incredible. And I'm so glad that I went. I feel like I learned so much, and it really pushes you, I feel like, in the right direction of, like I said, like that professionalism that you need, because you can have the skill, but without all that other stuff, it's going to be very hard for you to keep growing.
Right. So I feel also like Aya talked about this in the previous episode that it really helped her build her portfolio. Like it was easier because she didn't have to like sort of like reach out to other people. They kind of helped her start it there. So yeah, I think I heard from different people different experiences, but I feel like it definitely is an option. If you have like the money and like resources to do, I feel like you should definitely do it. That's what I've been hearing the most.
Definitely. And of course, there are some amazing self-taught makeup artists that didn't attend makeup school. And it's really, everyone's path is different. But if you can, or, you're willing to invest, and especially, like I said, like that school in particular, what I love is the fact that they help you with so much. They start off your portfolio, they start your kit, so it's like exactly what you should and shouldn't use. So it's definitely super helpful.
Yeah. How was it to apply to be a makeup artist at NYX? Did you apply right away after school?
So after school, I did apply. And when it comes to retail makeup, I feel like it's such a hit and miss, because I remember, from the youngest of age, 16, walking into stores and, being told like, come back in a few years, like you're too young, you're too young. So it kind of, I feel like, definitely the fact that they seen that I went to a makeup school had definitely helped as well, because, even with retail makeup, there's a lot of sanitation skills that they want you to know, and, just dealing with clients, they want you to know. But I did love it. I love the experience, and I'm very fortunate to have went there too. A lot of times, like people, I feel like if you tell anyone like, yeah, like I did retail and then I also freelance, they kind of toss you into a category like, okay, like, so you're just like a store makeup artist. And it's like, no, that's not the case. You definitely learn a lot of things in retail that you can apply to freelancing. So I think if you also have the opportunity, or, if you want something that, I don't want to say steady, but freelance where it could be very, like in and out, definitely, if you want to do makeup, retail is a great place to start, because you learn so many things and how to deal with people, and definitely timing, because all retail places, if you're going to do makeup, it's like, all right, you got an hour to do this whole glam face, you better get it on.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna ask. Like, do you feel that sort of working for a brand or working retail makeup, was it harder to deal with certain people than it was for like freelancing?
Definitely. There were definitely a lot of, rude clients. And when it's retail, I mean, freelance as well, the customer is always right.
Mhm.
But I feel like just because of the setting itself, you're in a sense, I don't want to say looked down upon, but they have more. When it's freelance, I feel like you're more respected as an artist versus retail, because they walk in and it's like, they know what they want, which is okay, of course. Like, you want to give the customer what they want, but they just look it down upon you, I feel like, in the artistry kind of level
Right,
of
'cause I
things.
feel like freelance artists, they tend to be for like shoots and like magazines.
Right.
When some people see like a retail makeup artist, it's kind of like, oh, she's just working here, she's probably still learning and things like that. Yeah, I feel like there is definitely that stereotype about artists, but like how you said, some people do both at the same time, so it's kind of like that's not necessarily true. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's definitely like you just said, they kind of, some people, not all people, look upon it. And it's great in my sense, because I feel like depending on where you are, but the location I was at, the artistry was completely different. In the store, people wanted this full like cut crease, like Instagram glam, which I absolutely love. And then you go to the shoots and it's like, make the model look like she's not wearing any makeup and then do this really like funky kind of eye. So
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting to see both kinds of makeup and execute them. So that's another thing too, like, really, if you want to do makeup, putting yourself out there, and if you can or want to, take both opportunities, because it's like you're going to train yourself in all different kinds of makeup, so it's not like you only are mastered in one thing.
Right. Yeah. It is very different styles of makeup, and I feel like it's something that people don't think that it's very different, but it is drastically different. The tools that they use are different too.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very different. So it's like, did you do freelancing before you worked at NYX, or was that something that you picked up like after a while?
So I did freelance before I worked at NYX. When I worked at NYX, I didn't freelance as much, just because, like the hours and everything like that. And of course, with freelance, it's kind of like you never know when you're going to be working or what the times you're going to be working. And with NYX, how they scheduled us, it was every 2 weeks. We'd have almost, it'd be about the same, but it was always slightly different. So I didn't freelance as much, but I freelanced before NYX. And then when I started NYX, I freelanced more on the side. But now I full-time freelance.
Do you like freelancing better than working like in retail?
Definitely. I have a heart for retail, especially because I've done it for a few years now, and it's a whole different experience. I do love sales, but at the end of the day, with freelancing, it's all about the artistry. Yeah, you have more behind it, but with retail, it's more sales based versus actual artistry. There is artistry there, but with freelancing, that's the main focus. So I love freelancing.
Right. I feel like that's another thing that sometimes we forget about, that like retail makeup, like you're selling a product to someone. It's not like you're not sort of just following a concept or trying to make like image or something. You're actually trying to sell things to people. Like you're trying to use them to try and convince them, like, look at this powder. It looks really nice on
Right,
I yeah,
right.
something we overlook a lot, that you have to have the sales skills to be able to do that. So it's, yeah, it is really different now that you're like telling us. It is completely different if you think about it.
In a sense, though, what's really good, that's why, like, I feel like every makeup artist should at least do retail just for a little bit, because you really are pushed to learn all that product knowledge. And then, as a makeup artist, having really well product knowledge is going to put you above the rest. And it really makes your client, or your model, or anyone you're doing makeup on, really be able to connect with you, because they have this trust, and it's like, okay, they know what they're doing. Like, she knows, if I ask her what ingredient is in this, what is this, is this okay for my face? Is this okay for my skin? You really will know that.
Right. Yeah. I feel like sometimes people only see like the creative side of makeup, like, oh, she knows how to do this, she knows how to do that, but there's a lot of like things that you need to learn, and there's like a lot of different things that you use for like different types of skins. Like before when I started going to the course, I was like, oh, I wonder why this foundation always makes me like crazy, like oily, or why I just can't wear this. And then you learn about why you can't. And it's like, oh, it don't make sense now. You know what I mean? It's like,
No, definitely.
oh yeah, you think that they have one foundation for everyone and it just works and you can just do it.
Right.
No, you can't do that. It doesn't, it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's so great about school too, because, you know, there's a lot of makeup artists, especially watching YouTube videos is so helpful. But sometimes, you know, not all of the influencers, but sometimes it's like, okay, they really just post what works for them. And then you're following it and you're like, wait, like, why doesn't it look like that? So that's why like a school is great too, or, you know, even a course is amazing because they kind of steer you in the path of what's going to work for you.
As I said before, like Roosevelt from Blakk April is the one that like put us in contact. So
Yes.
how did you come into contact with him?
So really funny enough, he was my Uber driver and I was coming home from a gig and I had my big makeup kit with me and, you know, he got out, helped me put it in the trunk, and then he's driving and he's like, are you like some sort of artist? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, funny enough, so am I. And that's honestly the greatest thing about being in New York. I feel like so many people, they don't understand why we love it here, but the opportunity, you never know who you're going to meet. And that's how we met. And I did one of his shows a few years back. He was showcasing his fashion and it was a live show. It was really cool. He had a bunch of different artists come. And then recently the photos you're talking about with his collection with the circle around the eye, the more editorial makeup I did for him. So yeah, but that's how I came in contact with him.
Yeah, I found that that's how we've all the people that we've had on, or it's because like not because we found them like just out of the blue. It's like because they knew someone who we knew, and then they're like, oh, this person should be on. Like for example, Lindsay told us
Right.
about Virginia, and then she also told us about Aya, and then I think Lindsay told us about Roosevelt, and then Roosevelt told us about you. So it's really interesting how it just keeps going. It's like, yeah, that's the best
Wow.
way. Yeah, just to just talk to people and like you don't even have to like go out there to talk, like you will just meet them on your own. You
Right.
have to keep in contact with them and you'll meet more people through them. So I think
New York is so big but so small at the end of the day, and it's so funny because I was looking through the other makeup artists' work, and Lindsay, we've actually worked on the same model before, so it's
exactly.
just crazy how small the industry is and the world is. You know, it seems so big, but when you break it down, it's like everybody knows everybody. So
Also, that's why you got to be nice to everyone because you will see people again. Like
oh, 100%. You definitely have to make, you know, great impressions, great first impressions. And then even in general, like you said, you know, there's some people that are in the field and it's like, it's going to come back to bite you if you're not nice.
yeah, exactly. It's like just be nice to everyone, even if they're not being
Right.
just be just
Right.
just sort of not take it, just sort of ignore it, deal with it, and then
Yeah, you definitely have to learn to bite your tongue. And at the end of the day, you know, not even just this field, but any field, it's like you're going to run into some not nice people. And it's like you kind of have to realize, like, okay, this is what I love to do. It's not worth it to even argue with anybody.
if it's just someone being nasty, just sort of brush it off, like whatever. Maybe they're having a bad day. It happens quite often. It happens a lot more often than you think. People are kind of moody, and I feel like in these type of careers you just kind of have to learn to deal with it because you collaborate with a lot of people.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
With this kind of career, you have to be a people person, and you just have to make, because you know you're around, like you just said, you're around people all day. Like people are looking to collaborate, and it's like, you know, you just have to portray yourself in the best version of yourself that you are, because you know no one's going to want to work with you if you have an attitude, and vice versa.
As an intern, I saw another intern catch an attitude with this lady who we thought was just like a PA, but she wasn't a PA. She was the producer, and he caught an attitude with her, and he got kicked off set. And then yeah, so it's kind of like
See, so
yeah,
you really never know.
yeah, exactly. It's like you just have to you just have to be careful. But yeah, like I think you said that you assisted an artist before. Like, what was that like?
So it was a lot of fun. It was one of my first real makeup gigs. I was 17. Her name is Bebe Ellison, and it was a film job. And that's another thing that really, because before, like, I knew I wanted to do it, but I felt like, being so young, and especially where I was, and the school I was in, like, it was a regular high school. Everyone was doing either sports or law. It was kind of hard to know, okay, like, how do I go about this? And having that experience working under her, assisting her, it was incredible. I feel like it just opened up my world to everything and really showed me the gates. And I call her my fairy godmother of makeup. Because she showed me, like, okay, this isn't just a hobby. You can make this into a career. Like, this is a whole life. And it was incredible. It was so incredible. I still, like you said, how we just said, it was kind of being at the right place at the right time and meeting a person. I met a photographer who introduced me to her, and then they're on, and it's just, that's how New York is. And
Yeah.
like I said, I think that's why none of us want to leave. We just love it.
Yeah, it's just it's like one big like networking space. Like it really is. You can meet people in the street and then later on you'd be like, oh, I could contact this person. Maybe, they have an
Right.
or something like that. So yeah, I think it's really cool. Yeah, that's what I said. That's why everyone comes here.
Mhm. Mhm.
What was like the hardest part of starting out?
I feel like the hardest part of starting out, I did start when I was young. So, even sometimes now, a lot of times people won't take me as serious, especially in the beginning. They wouldn't take me seriously. Another thing, I feel like just getting out of that own headspace, where I feel like you as well kind of were telling me, like, oh, like, it's about who you know. I felt like getting over that major anxiety of, like, okay, like, this person loves this style, or, like, they love this makeup artist and I'm not that makeup artist, so what if they hate it? So really just kind of growing in confidence level and being like, okay, you know what, I'm an artist. If they don't value my artwork, they can go to someone else. There's going to be people that love you, there's going to be people that hate you, and at the end of the day, that's with everything. You can't take it personal. So after I stopped taking things personal, things, I feel like, got so much better.
Do you feel like there's like a special scene for like especially artists who tend to do like more alternative looks? Have you encountered that, or do you think it's just like a little bit more broad?
So on with my personal experience, there have been times, especially in the retail setting, where a lot of people have looked at my style and they would be like, oh, like, you're not gonna, like,
Hmm.
I don't like that style of makeup. And it's like, oh, okay, like, you show me what you like. I feel like it kind of teaches you the lesson of, people really do judge you for your looks or your style, and you just have to, like, break through to them and be like, listen, like, this might be for me, but if it's not for you, that's okay. And I'm not going to do what works for me on you or what I like on me. This is about you.
Right.
So definitely just showcasing to people that, I might have a certain type of style, I might have a certain type of look, but if that's not what we're going to focus on, like, I'm not going to bring all of me into the project we're working on.
Right. Yeah, it just shows that you're like it's like I'm versatile. I can change like, I could do whatever you want. Just show me what you want me to do and I will do it for you. Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. But it's funny that you did ask that, especially too, because I've had times where, I've sent in, they've asked only for examples of my work. So I've sent in my work and not my Instagram or anything like that. So they would have no idea, like, what my style is or like what
Right.
I look like. And then I'd come and they'd be like, oh, like,
You do?
that's you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what is something you wished you knew before becoming a makeup artist?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I feel what I wish I knew is, like I said in the beginning, kind of getting over that anxiety of, like, okay, not everyone is gonna like you, not everyone's gonna like your style. I feel like I feel like what I wish I knew was to not get in your own head and realize that, like I said, there are going to be some people out there that don't like your style, that are going to like your style, not to take it personally, and, that you really do need to have thick skin.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's like I think someone said that before. It might have been Lindsay who said that yeah, it's like, your style might not be for everyone, but there's always gonna be someone who's out there who's gonna like your things and is definitely
Oh,
gonna contact you again and again and You're gonna
Right, exactly.
yeah.
And
What
also another thing too, just to really make sure that you talk to everyone because you never know who you're going to meet. And I feel like it gets programmed into our heads, especially in this generation, like people know everyone's afraid to talk to people, and people don't even know who their neighbors are. And it's like, we have to break out of that, especially if you're going to go into a creative field, because you really, really never know who you are going to meet.
right, exactly. Yeah. What are 5 tips for people who want to like start as a makeup artist?
Okay, so 5 tips for people who want to start as a makeup artist. Definitely speak to whoever you can because you never know who you're gonna meet, who you're gonna run into. So just start talking to people. Another tip is definitely do your research. Make sure that you know things about products, skin type, skin tones. I would say don't feel like you have to go into one path, because even now a lot of times other fellow makeup artists will ask me, okay, so where's your standpoint, like are you bridal, are you editorial, are you clients? And it's like, you can do a little bit of everything. Don't feel like you have to just go right into one setting. Let's see, another one I would say is, if you are starting out with a kit, don't feel like you need everything. You're going to break your back. You don't need everything. Learn to use products that you could kind of maneuver and play with, and products that are very versatile. Because when I first started doing makeup, I feel like I wanted to have every single thing on the planet. And it's like, when you are traveling, you do not want to be carrying a whole store's worth of stuff with you. Another thing that's great about school, they really teach you how to kind of maneuver products. And even at home, sit there, play with products. There's so many products that are so multifunctional. You can use, a liquid blush as a lipstick, and you could use it as a cream eyeshadow. So a bunch of different things like that. The last tip I feel like I have for someone that wants to be a makeup artist is keep on practicing, because there's always room for growth in every field, like I said, but especially with makeup. Even if you feel like you're really good at one thing, if you're good at one thing, practice the other thing.
Right. Is there anything that you would like to plug in?
Not at the moment, because there is something in the works, but I don't know if it's going to be aired yet.
Okay.
So not at the moment, but definitely super into freelance, and I hope to be putting out a bunch of more projects now, especially because I am full-time freelance now. So yeah.
Y'all heard her. Stay tuned, guys.
Yes, stay tuned.
Just to remind, you can view her work on @DannyShadows on Instagram and in her portfolio on her website. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure to talk to you.